Hey guys, Creator Mom. Good morning. It's Monday, Memorial Day. This video is for anyone who's watched the show Sirens, the Netflix show Sirens. I'm not exactly sure why the show is called Sirens. It's not about mermaids, but anyways, I guess because it's about this rich couple that lives basically like on this island in New York. I don't know what the heck it's even called, but they live in this huge mansion, and it's like, I think it's like its own island or something. It's really beautiful though. Anyways, I have to say, if you didn't watch the show, you're not going to know what I'm talking about, but I literally hate the older sister. I found myself being very triggered by the older sister because, so basically, the show is about these sisters. They grow up in Buffalo, New York, and one is, they're about, let me see, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They're like 5 years apart. And at 7 years old, the younger sister experienced a traumatic event where her mom committed suicide, but also tried to kill her too, in the car with the exhaust shit, like in the garage and everything. But the sister lived, the mom died. So, and then the older sister went off to college as she got older. She also wanted to get away from home, I think, too, but she went to college. And the younger sister was left with dad, but he wasn't a very good caretaker. He basically kind of neglected her needs. He didn't really feed her and make sure she bathed, things like that, And the older sister knew that this was going on, but, she was probably like, 19, 20, and she just wanted to get away, right? So she was off at college, but the whole time she felt guilty because she knew that her sister wasn't really being well taken care of. So she decided to quit college and go back home to take care of her sister. But by this time, her sister was already in high school and kind of like suicidal, already had like some issues. And so fast forward, the younger sister, I don't think she completed college, but she did get into Yale. I'm a little bit confused about that part. I think she started law school, but then she said in the show that she realized she didn't like it, so she quit. At any rate, there was a lady hiring this. Okay, so this fast forward, this rich couple lives in this big mansion. The wife is hiring for an assistant, so the younger sister applies. She's like 25 now or something like that, and she applies to be this woman's assistant, and she gets hired, and this is like the job of her dreams. But at the same time, she's kind of also running, but like she also wants to move forward with her life, you know what I mean, and get away from her yucky past. But the thing is that she's running internally, which I feel like I can relate to, because of the shame of her past. She hasn't dealt with her past and healed from it yet. And there's nothing, it's just like, anyways. So I think that was like one of the main issues, just like not healing internally from her past. So she carried a lot of shame about it, which caused her to lie about her past. And her boss doesn't even know like she has an older sister or anything. The boss is like controlling, wants to know like everything about her, but whatever. She gets really attached to this boss, and their relationship is professional, but in ways very not professional. The boss kind of treats her like her best friend, like a sister. There's some boundary issues there, which are no surprise, because once the older sister comes in the picture and you see how the older sister is interacting with the younger sister, it's like, oh, of course she would want to attach to this boss lady. I don't know, because the boss lady kind of like took her under her wing in a sense, made her feel safe in a sense, cared for. She was rich. Here she is, this young 25-year-old girl, beautiful, working for this rich woman, this woman who's married to this rich man. And this woman gets her own wardrobe. She looks beautiful every day, wearing beautiful dresses. And I mean, come on, it's like a girl's dream, to be taken care of in that way. And that's something she never got when she was younger, So, of course, that this would be like the perfect fit for her in a way, but also it's tough because it could also be a little bit unhealthy because like the boundaries and the people pleasing and her wanting to stay in the good, like not wanting to do anything to mess up this relationship with her boss, just very people pleasy. No boundaries, basically. It's kind of like reminds me of myself a bit, So yeah, so she totally adapts to this rich way of living and she's loving it, she doesn't care that her boss doesn't really have like boundaries. Like for instance, like something happened to the boss, she was sad, and then the boss wanted to lay in bed with the sister, like comfort. She also wanted a lot of emotional support and comfort from this personal assistant, you know what I mean? Which was like, it's like crossing boundaries, But, whatever. It was still like a dream come true for this 25-year-old girl. So anyways, her past shows up in her present, right? Like her sister keeps trying to contact her older sister keeps trying to contact her because the dad is having mental health issues. He's getting, dementia and shit. So the older sister is also leading a pretty fucked up life. She's not really happy. She sleeps around. She has drinking issues, had DUIs. She has her own traumas that she's not facing and dealing with either. And now she has to take care of her dad who's getting dementia. And so she starts reaching out to her little sister because I think she feels like her little sister owes her, because she said it so many times in the show, like, I sacrificed for you. I quit college to take care of you. You made it because of me, like all that type of like really narcissistic sounding shit. Instead of like owning it and not throwing it in her face so much, in the younger sister's face, but she was upset because the younger sister was completely ignoring all her text calls because the younger sister's running away from her past. She doesn't want anything to do with back there. You know what I mean? She just wants to forget about it, So the older sister catches up with her, finds out where she's working and living, and shows up at her job, which is also where she lives, because she's an stay-in personal assistant. And just starts just acting up like, oh, you're working with these rich people, look at you, like kind of like judging her, like, oh, look, you look all rich now, like what's that about? And it's just like, oh my God, you're like, no wonder she wants to run away from this girl, this older sister. And I just, right until the last episode, I still did not like the older sister. I felt like she just kept making the younger sister feel like what she was doing was wrong. And the younger sister was just like, no, I don't want to take care of dad. I don't give a fuck about him. No. And the older sister wasn't really respecting that. The older sister was like, you can't tell me no, and the older sister she wasn't really emotionally healthy either. And she was trying to push. She was trying to tell her younger sister, like, oh, who are you now? I know you. That lady's controlling. All the meanwhile, she's being controlling towards her younger sister. So it's like, well, go figure. She connected with that pattern again, like a controlling person or something, like somebody with no boundaries. Like the older sister had no boundaries either. That's what aggravated me about her. And the way the show ended, so this younger girl works for this guy. I mean, this wife. But what happened was that the wife was thinking that her husband was cheating. So she had the assistant follow the husband, right? And so she followed him, and then eventually he saw her, right? And he was doing some type of oyster fishing. This takes place I think they were in Rhode Island. First I said New York. I think it's Rhode Island, actually. So he was doing oyster fishing, and then he was like, well, why don't you join me, So she joins him in oyster fishing, and they have a conversation, and she's like, yeah, your wife thinks you're kind of cheating on her and stuff, and which he's not. He took a trip. He told his wife he was going to Japan, but really he was going to see his children, his adult children, which he didn't want to tell his wife because that would upset her, because older children like hate her or whatever. So anyways, then the husband ends up kissing the assistant. Like he misread that, you know what I mean? And he ended up kissing her, and she was like, whoa, and she ran off. Well, anyway, somebody was there, took a photograph, and then word eventually got back around to the wife, and she saw the picture. So the wife was already, since the wife kept that picture essentially because she wanted to use it just in case they got a divorce, because if she could prove that he was cheating, maybe she could get more from the divorce or whatever. At any rate, so she hid the picture from the husband. She didn't show the husband the picture, but she fired the assistant, and the husband didn't like that. Well, at any rate, it was funny because at the end, the assistant was like, there is no way I'm going back and home and living in Buffalo with my father. Just like, no fucking way. So she runs back to the mansion, tells the husband, hey, about the picture, tries to warn him or whatever. Husband lets go of the wife on the spot, and then suddenly the young assistant girl is now taking the wife's spot, which was like crazy. But then the older sister still was making the younger sister feel like, what are you doing? Like, how could you? Still making her feel like what she was doing was wrong. It's like, which fine, maybe that's not your path, that's not the decisions you would make, but the way the older sister was just acting with the younger sister, she wasn't giving her space to fucking be, space to explore and get to know who she is apart from them, you know what I mean? And that's one thing I really didn't like about the older sister. Right until the end, she just had to make the younger sister feel like wrong, when she had her own issues and shit to deal with, So that's one thing. She was my least favorite character in the show. She was controlling over the younger sister, and I didn't like that at all. So, my Chromebook's running out of battery. Anyways, that's all I wanted to share. I just wanted to share how much I did not like this older sister at all. She had no respect for her younger sister, no respect at all. And the younger sister just wanted to run away from her. And go figure. All right, bye.